In today's class, I will now talk about a phylum known as phylum Cnidaria. Cnidaria, phylum Cnidaria. Cnidaria is a very popular phylum. It for several reasons. You have heard about Hydra, you have heard about corals, you have heard about jellyfish, you have heard about Cyania, you have heard about sea anemones. So there are many places where you have heard about Cnidarians. So let us now talk about Cnidarians in details. Let me share my screen. Okay. Just hold on a moment. I'm trying to open my. Okay, Ashche join. Somebody is joining. So right now the slide has, rather my note has opened, and I will now talk about phylum Cnidaria. So the first Cnidaria which you really know, you have seen this organism. This is a Cnidarian. Specifically, you know them as sea anemones. Sea anemones, Metridium. So, what are Cnidaria? The first characteristic of a Cnidaria, and this is a characteristic of a Cnidaria, they are metazoans. That is means they are multicellular, and they have got a tissue grade of organization. That is, they are in sponges. In poriferans you have seen there were individual cells, and they were separate from each other, and now this, they have got their cells of the same type, like a tissue, just a level higher than that of having many cells together. It's got a tissue grade of organizations. They are aquatic, that is, they live in the water, and most of them are marine. Exception is Hydra, which you may have read in class 11, 12. It is freshwater. They can be sedentary, that means they are fixed in one place, or they can be free swimming, they can be solitary. That solitary means they are alone, or colonial, or they live in colonies. Individuals are radially or biradially symmetrical. Radial means if you divide this from this angle, from the top you're looking, this is, it gives two equal halves. If you divide it from here, it gives two equal halves. If you divide it from here, two equal halves. So this is known as radial symmetry. And biradial means if you draw this as a thing, you divide it one equal half here, one equal half here. So that is biradial symmetry. So They can have they can be they are radially or biradially symmetrical, and they have a central gastrovascular cavity communicating to the exterior by a mouth. So what is the central gastrovascular cavity? Now, for example, you have seen an hydra. A hydra, it looks something like this. I'm trying to draw it properly. You have little tentacles coming out from here. So this is a hydra. So what you do over here, you take a section. You take a section. You are then studying this section. So you can see that it looks like this. Now let us increase the size. You see a mouth. This is the tentacle. It's a section. You have cut a section. Outside is the epidermis or ectoderm. Inside layer here, this is the gastrodermis or endoderm. Now, the mouth, it leads to this space here. Mouth leads to this space over here, and this space is the central gastrovascular cavity. If you cut it like this, you will see it like this. There is a central gastrovascular cavity. Outside ectoderm, inside you have a region mesoglia. No mesoderm as such. Mesoglia, and you have a gastroderm or endoderm, you can call them. So this is how basically a section of a Cnidaria looks like. They are diploblastic animal. Let's look at the body wall. For example, we are now checking this region. This is the body wall. We are checking it over here. So what you have, this is the epidermis or outer layer. In between this region here, in between the between region here, I am shading here. This is the mesoglia or mesoderm, and this is the gastrodermis here, or stomach, basically their type of stomach. And this is the inside region. In, this is out. First you can see lot of cells present. One famous cell is, one noteworthy cell is let's increase it here. On the body, you find a cell known as, an organ known as nematocyst. It's also known as sting. Sting. And this nematocysts are present in a cell. This cell, it is known as cnidoblast. Now, what is the function of this nematocyst? This capsule or nematocyst. So you can see this is a hydra. You are taking a section of the wall. Then you are increasing from this section, you are taking this section, you are increasing the size, and you are essentially coming to this. So basically you have in this nematocyst, it's a coiled tubule. So you have a tubule which is coiled, which is attached to a sting. It has got paralyzing substances. So when this animal is when this animal, say this is the prey, when this you stimulate, when this region is stimulated, when this is stimulated, trigger, this point is trigger is stimulated, it immediately, this coiled tube which is there, it extends out like straight like this, and it pokes, putiye there, it pricks the prey, and the prey is paralyzed. So this is a defensive and offensive sort of cell organelle or cell organ or whatever you say, structure, defensive structure. Apart from that, and therefore because the presence of this cnidoblast and this nematocyst, they are known as cnidaria. They belong to the all of these cnidarians have this on the epidermis, and therefore they are known as cnidaria because of the presence of this cnidoblast. So outside you have other cells, the epitheliomuscular cells, sensory cells, if anybody touches it can understand. You have this cnidoblast cells, you have some intermediate cells known as interstitial cells, and some nerve cells which are present in the inside region. Some nerve cells are present in the inside region. You see the line coming here. Inside you have the cells which are digesting food. Food from the mouth comes inside and they digest. So they have cells known as food vacuoles. They have endothelial, muscular or nutritive cells. So here digestion is a very fantastic type. It can happen, the digestive enzymes are released by these endothelial gland cells. They release digestive enzymes. Food particles which are here, they are digested here and they are absorbed by the cell. Otherwise what happens, some cells, they like amoeba or like the protozoans, they can make some pseudopodia like structures and they sort of engulf the food inside. So digestion is both extracellular as well as intracellular. The digestion happens inside the cell as well as it happens outside the cell. So you see when it happens inside the cell, these little food vacuoles are formed. So this is how a cnidaria looks like, especially. They are acoelomate. They are acoelomate. They do not possess coelom. They have short tentacles which you see. Short tentacles are seen over here. You can see here. These are the short tentacles. Tentacles are present. Then you had learned about the cnidocytes containing stinging capsule. They sting and they shoots out towards the prey. So you have read about this part also. I have explained this part. Another interesting thing is that, remember this, they show the example of polymorphism. They show the phenomenon of polymorphism. Now what is this polymorphism? Morphic means many forms. The body has got many forms. So predominantly two forms are seen. One form which looks like this. This is known as the polyp. The other form is looking like this, and it is known as the medusa. This form is asexual. That is, no sperms and eggs are formed. Asexual. And this form is sexual. So like this, they have got different characteristics. This form is sedentary, they stick at one place. This form is motile, they move around. This is like an inverted umbrella, and this is like a flower. So these two forms are present, therefore they are known as polymorphic. Apart from that, there are seven in some an order known as Siphonophora of the Cnidarians, one order. It is you find that these Cnidarians are essentially they have got many forms, polymorphic. We will talk about polymorphism in Siphonophora is a very important thing which you will study later. Then they are carnivorous, they are not vegetarians. No anus, mouth and anus same. So food enters through here to the stomach, and food also comes out from here. The digested waste products, they also come out from the same place. Anus is not found. Nervous system, as you see, small consists of one or small networks or nerve cells and neurites located in the endoderm and ectoderm. Then respiratory, circulatory and excretory systems are not present. So the water which comes through the mouth, that is essentially from their diffusion of carbon dioxide and oxygen, and exchange takes place. Both sexual and asexual reproduction are present. Asexual reproduction occurs by budding. What is budding? So if this is an hydra, bottom part of a hydra, another organism comes out like this. Hydra comes out like this. If this is the hydra, this part, this is the budding or asexual. And sexual is you have sperms and you have eggs. They fuse and they form zygote, and the zygote increases, and then you have the animal as such. The larval stage, they have a larva stage. From the larva, a larva stage, this larva then later on from the egg, fertilized egg, a larva is formed known as planula larva. From this planula, you have the adult which is formed over here. There is a phenomenon known as very important alternation of generation or metagenesis. That is a polyp form which is the asexual form, it becomes into a medusa which is the sexual form. This medusa again develops into the asexual polyp. So this is like an alternation of generation, but only what happens in alternation of generation is in algae, fungi, in algae and bryophytes, you can find this thing takes place, especially in algae, that you have a gametophytic generation and you have a sporophytic generation. One is N and the other becomes 2N. The sporophytic becomes 2N. And this 2N again becomes into the gametes N and 2N. So this is known as alternation of generation. In plants, in algae, you can find that a sporophytic generation becomes a gametophytic generation, and the gametophytic then again becomes the sporophytic generation. So you find a haploid becomes diploid, and the diploid again becomes haploid. This is alternation of generation. But what is the difference here? This polyp becomes medusa and medusa becomes polyps. Both of them are diploid. That is the only difference. Both are diploid. Both are 2N. So this thing is, or this phenomenon of this is known as metagenesis. This metagenesis is found in Cnidarians. Then let's go to the next. So according to Rupert Barnes' 6th edition, this is how you have to study about this classification. You have phylum Cnidaria, class Hydrozoa, class Scyphozoa, class Cubozoa, class Anthozoa. And in the subclass, you can divide Anthozoa into Octocorallia and Hexacorallia. So this is how the basic classification scheme goes. Now, what are the characteristic features of Anthozoa? Antho, it means flower like. So, this is an Anthozoa. So, they are, now if you look at their properties, the sea anemone is Anthozoan. Their properties, they can be solitary or colonial, but they are exclusively marine forms. They are polypoid. With in these anthozoans, you don't find medusa, you only find polyps. Body is cylindrical with hexamerous or octamerous or polymerous symmetry. That means you can divide this symmetry into many. Hexamerous, that is 6 times you can divide it. In octamerous, you can divide it into 8 times. Therefore, they can have this symmetry. The oral end of the body is expanded into an oral disc bearing hollow tentacles. See, oh, this is the oral disc over here. This is the oral disc. Mouth. This is the pharynx. This is the gastrovascular cavity here. This is the oral disc. An oral disc is present here. And they have nematocysts, of course, like this is how they look. Example, what you have to study, the example which you have to study is anthozoan examples. Metridium. Now look at these beautiful pictures which I have taken from the internet. This is a anthozoan. Like looks like a flower. Anthos means flower. This is hermit crab. So in this is there a crab. On top of the crab you find a sort of cnidaria growing. This is another cnidaria. This is red pipe coral or known as tubipora. This is another thing. This is known as sea pen. It's like a feather pen. So the Gorgonia mushroom coral. Then you have the mushroom coral. You have the Pennatula sea pen. The tubipora. You have the red pipe coral. Adamsia. This is you can find it on top of this crab. Then Metridium or the sea anemones. So different corals you can find here. And of course you have Fungia and Corallum. All these are also present over here. Then you have the subclass. You don't have to read this Octacorallia or Hexacorallia. Then you come to up to class you have to read. Characteristic features of Scyphozoa. They are the jellyfish. This is a jellyfish. They can become so big. They can become so big also. This is a human being. They are jellyfish. You have seen these jellyfishes. Famous example is Aurelia. You have to study metagenesis Aurelia. This is Aurelia, jellyfish. See, a jellyfish, Aurelia. These are the jellyfishes. So what are the characteristics of it? They are cup-like, opposite cup. So this is how they look, like a cup, an inverted cup. For example, here they are looking. This is a structure of a jellyfish. You can practice the structure. These are the true jellyfishes. You have the Scyphozoans. Then you have another group known as the Hydrozoans. Among the Hydrozoans, the famous Hydrozoa are your Hydra. Or you have these Siphonophora, for example, Halistema. They have got polymorphic forms. So example characteristic features are they are solitary freshwater or mostly colonial, marine, sessile or free swimming forms. Their body wall, outer ectoderm and inner endoderm separated by mesoglia is the same, and they exhibit polymorphism, that is they have both polyp as well as medusa present. In Scyphozoans, for example, you don't see a polyp form very much. You mostly see the medusad form, and in the Anthozoan you see the polyp-like form much more. And so, but here you find in one organism you can find polyps and medusa living together. For example, I will talk about polymorphism in Siphonophora. So the Helistemma is a siphonophore. You can see different you can see these bells known as swimming bells. You see another structures over here. So in one organism itself, one, two, three, four, five, six, you can find several of these forms. So they are polymorphic, they are hydrozoans. So examples, of course, beautiful example, one thing you see porpita, चरकी, दिवाली के चरकी जैसे दिखता है, this is porpita. So then another beautiful thing is the velella, millepora. You have all these famous examples of hydrozoans. So with this I finish my Cnidaria part, the basic classification part, and next day I will start with Platyhelminthes and others. So I end my class. Do you have any questions? कोई क्वेश्चंस है या सब समझ में आ गया? निसाब, अलशिफा?
जी सर, सब समझ आ गया।
समझ आ गया। ओके, तब बंद करता हूँ। अब अगले दिन मैं फिर से वो जो नेक्स्ट डे है मंडे को करते हैं नेक्स्ट क्लास। ओके, बाय बाय, हैव अ नाइस टाइम।
11 बजे है सर।
हाँ 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 हाँ, तब 11 बजे ही होगा। ठीक है, ओके, बाय।